Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 51 of Direwolf20's Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode series. Hooray! Today, I'm going to give you guys a little brief tour of the work I did between episodes. Mostly, as promised, tried to clean up some of the wiring around the base a little bit. So we definitely did a lot with regards to running cables and trying to tidy up the energy conduits around the base. Switched them all over to Ender IO for the most part. There's a couple lingering ones that I probably just missed, but for the most part, everything is cut over, which is cool. But we're still going to use universal cables, mostly because A, it converts from EU to RF, which is nice, and B, there's a couple other edge cases where it's useful to have. You might also notice that I have a couple more empty drawers here in preparation for something we need to work on today to continue with our machine structure stuff. So in order to make machine structures, there's a lot of recipes involved, right? A lot of stuff needs to be made. And one of those things is calcium sulfate. So that's a process we're going to have to figure out today because it's a little bit involved, just a smidge, involved in excuse me, enough such that I might be wondering if I'm going about this too soon, but we'll see. We'll see. So quest-wise, right, like we could do Ender IO, we could do environmental tech, but I want to do advanced rocketry because rockets are fun. I want to go to outer space. I want to explore the moon and hop around and do all that cool outer spacey things. So that's the plan, right? But we have a lot of work to get there. So in order to get calcium sulfate, right, calcium sulfate is made in a crystallizer from nuclear craft from calcium sulfite solution, which calcium sulfite solution can either come from water and calcium sulfate, which doesn't help us because that's what we're trying to get, or a chemical reactor between fluorite water and sulfuric acid. Fluorite water comes from a fluid enricher with crushed fluorite, which luckily is not too bad. We can get it from a rock crusher with diorite. So that crushed fluorite, carbonite, and zirconium dust, that's going to be what these three drawers are for down here. Okay, so we're going to set up a diorite processor, right? Igneous extruder diorite with a rock crusher next to it. And you can see I've got a few things in my inventory getting prepared for that. Then in addition to the fluorite water, right? Yeah, no, wait, hang on. Calcium sulfate water. Right? In addition, we need sulfuric acid. And this is mostly a mechanism tech tree. So that comes from a chemical reaction between water and sulfur trioxide or liquid sulfur trioxide. But those are, so one's mechanisms, one's nuclear craft. So sulfur trioxide from nuclear craft is a complex chemical reaction between other things. So ethylene can make it with sulfuric acid. That's kind of cool. And nuclear craft sulfuric acid comes from water and sulfur okay, that's head hurting. But the other way to go about this is there's another sulfuric acid. So there's sulfuric acid from mechanism and sulfuric acid from nuclear craft. The mechanism one, this one, works with the fluoride water. To make, see, that's the mechanism sulfuric acid. Cool. And that comes from sulfuric acid, the liquid form, I guess, or the gas form, I don't know, whatever. And then water vapor plus sulfur trioxide. Water vapor just comes from water. Sulfur trioxide comes from oxygen, which we're already producing, remember, plus sulfur dioxide, which comes from sulfur dust in a chemical oxidizer. Lots of things, right? Now, we're already making sulfur dust, which is cool. And we already had some from before, so that's cool. And I guess we're just going to have to see how much we need to make the stuff we need to make. So it's a lot of steps, right? So I'm going to have to figure out where I want that. But I think step one is to start getting the crushed diorite thing going. And I'll set up a similar process here where we'll have a single stack and then void the excess that it produces. beyond the max amount. And I might remove this single stack thing. It depends how much crust, rhodochrosite, and other stuff we have. But remember, the rock crusher is a huge amount of RF. So we don't want it running unless we really need it running. And technically we have 2 stacks of this stuff, right? Because this thing has 63 in there. So I've got my igneous extruder dude ready to roll, right? So we can get the power going here, and you can start producing your diorite. And we might as well also get pressurized fluid conduit. And where's my this thing? Come on now, that's not what I want. Come on now, that's not what I want. Are you behaving now? So, yes. Alright, so igneous extruder, right? You're gonna do diorite, outputting to the right, inputting from the bottom. Okay, and hopefully you don't use lava. I'm assuming you don't, because like other... Yeah, no lava production. Sweet. Okay, perfect. Diorite for days. Alright, and then the rock crusher is going to go here. So I was trying to do some of this crafting off camera and then ran into I need to make things that we haven't done yet. So the rock crusher, which we already made one of, right? So you'd think that it was easy to make, but not so much. Not so much. We need DU plating, which we had gotten either from a chest or a quest reward at some point. And in order to get DU plating, which I taught to the system how to make, we need uranium-238, which luckily isn't too bad to get. We just need an isotope separator. Sounds fun. And I'm going to go stick this in here for the time being. Only because I don't know for sure how much of this I need to automate, or like how frequently I'm going to have to run this. So I'm just going to pop it in here for now. And my understanding is that I throw something like uranium ingots from Immersive in there, and they separate, and then we get uranium-238 and tiny clump of uranium-235. Cool. And how much RF are you using? 1,000 RF a tick, not too bad. So we'll just like get a bunch of this stuff and then decide shortly if we need more. Now if I get into nuclear craft for power gen, we'll probably need more. But the long and the short of it is now we have enough DU plating to make a rock crusher. And we should be pretty cool. And then we also need a machine chassis. So I taught a bunch of auto crafting recipes between episodes so that we'd be ready for this. There's a lot involved in DU plating because you need advanced plating and you need basic plating. So I taught all this stuff. And I also taught it how to make tough alloys in the ingot former. Speaking of the ingot former. Are you still going? Nah, you're cool. Hooray, another rock crusher. Sweet. So we're going to have to get item conduits going here, but that shouldn't be too bad because we just hook it into our existing stuff. So let's get this running, and then I'll show you the other things that I did. So you in item mode. You can be nothing for items because I don't care about you extracting items there. But you're going to go, and you're going to extract on brown, always active, right? I just want like the ball rolling here. So another 8,000 RF, right? So you're not going anywhere at the moment, but you will in a sec. But I want to have one of each of the things that you make in here. So I need some zirconium dust, which is a 4 in 10 chance. So there we go. I didn't think that would take too long. Cool. So now you should be getting more of that stuff, right? Yep. Perfect. 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 So now we've got the calcium sulfate that we need access to. Other things that I had to deal with between episodes. I ran out of crafting pattern slots here. So I had to rewire a little bit of AE so that we could have another interface here for the alloy furnace. And I did the same over here with my crusher. So ran out of crusher slots. So now the crusher inserts into the storage crate, and then the storage crate, there's item conduits under there to pipe it into the crushing factory. We may need to expand further in the future, but we'll see. And as a reminder, totally all about hooking me up with some stuff. So let's get another processing area up and running. I'm just trying to decide where that should be. I'm thinking back here. What we could have. Let's get our destruction gadget. So you're down 3, depth of 5, left 3, right 1. I mean, that's pretty cool right there. Let's get rid of this watery sound. Where's all this water coming from? Much better. So, would this be a cool place to do some of the processing that we need to do to get this calcium sulfide stuff? Because we have power right here, and also we have 6 more channels available to us, right? So we should be good to do most of this. So let's get the ball rolling with this, right? I also have a fluid infuser, which we can use, by the way, to infuse wood and get treated wood planks. That's a thing we're gonna look at doing at some point, because that's gonna be useful for us. But let's start the process of all this calcium sulfate stuff, right? So to get this going, we need fluorite water, right? So let's calcium sulfate it up, right? So step 1 will be the fluorite water, which is nuclear craft only, and that's a fluid enricher, right? So what would be involved in getting a fluid enricher? And I'm assuming a lot of these machines will become useful to us also. So we need some advanced plating, a motor, and a chassis. Motor and a chassis. As we get into more nuclear craft stuff, which will probably happen down the line anyway, right? Because we might use that for power gen at some point in the future. Cool. That's right. So we want the fluid infuser, right? No. Fluid enricher. Yeah, that's what we want. Calcium sulfate, crushed fluorite, whatever. Fluid enricher. Just waiting on a few more advanced platings. Cool. So what we should probably do is, I mean, part of me wants to just start building this and then see what happens. Because I'm sure what's going to happen is I'm gonna rip it all up and rebuild it once we see how it all fleshes out. Alright, so that should be cool. So let's do this. I'm going to run some cabling here. And let's get like a couple export buses, because I suspect we're going to need a few of these. So like step 1 will be fluid enricher, right? Which, you know what I'm going to do? Make sure it's facing the right way so it looks cool. Whoops. And you're going to be that calcium, or no, fluoride or something like that? Crushed fluorite? Yeah. So that you go in there, right? Exported bus. And you also need water, which, hey, we just happen to have water and power right around here. How nice is that? Yeah, I need to get some of that stuff. So we need quartz. Let's just get a stack of it, and we'll split it down the middle. Cool. So this thing can probably come... Yeah, we might as well just run it straight across here like that. Wrong button. Dire, please. And once we have the basics in this room, we should be much better off. Okay. And then water as well. So you're going to be insert only mode. I feel like Ender IO conduits was the right decision here based on my dire wire. Alright, so then you should be now making fluorite water. Nice. Okay, so that's step one of many. Okay, but it's working. And how much do I have to use? Not bad. Not bad. Alright, so if I want calcium sulfate, right, that's step one, is fluorite water. Step two is sulfuric acid. We're going to go the mechanism route. So we're going to need a condensator, rotary condensator, and a chemical infuser. So we need rotary condensator, chemical infuser. We're going to need another rotary condensator, right? And then we're going to need another chemical infuser. And we need to get our oxygen over here. We might wind up making our own oxygen. We'll see. And then we need a chemical oxidizer. Okay. And then that should be cool. So let me go get all those things crafted off camera, and we'll be right back. So I need more emeralds, and that's a to-do list item for me. I'm leaning towards Civ Gravel for emeralds. I'm leaning towards that. But for now, we're going to do trades as best we can. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So I came over here to look at, like, you know, what's involved, right? And pretty much everybody just trades string and wool for emeralds. I don't know why this village is so desperate for string and wool, but clearly they need a lot of it, right? See, like they all, that's what they want. Who am I to judge their needs as villagers? Look, it's all string and wool. I don't know why, but that's what it is, right? So I just grabbed a bunch of string and wool, clearly, and decided to come and trade. So, I mean, that ain't terrible. And the reason I need that is because I need some dimensional shard ore. For what, you say? Apparently, chemical infusers require dimensional shard ore. Today I learned ultimate control circuits. I don't think I taught you yet. So that is... Oh, that's that recipe. Okay. Do we know atomic alloys yet? We do not. So that is... Alright. To work I go. Back in a few. Gonna get some crafting done off camera. Which one of these is this? This guy. Alright. Complicated recipe, but 2 chemical infusers later. Also note you need ultimate gas tanks, which not terrible once you have some of the stuff. All right, so the last thing I need is a chemical oxidizer. How crazy is that? A little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Back in a minute. All right, so this should be about it. So then chemical oxidizer looks like that. Nice. All right, cool. So let's get situated over here. All right. So we need all kinds of things. Lots of things. We've got our water, right? So the only other thing is, do we want oxygen to come all the way from over here, or just make our own oxygen? I think we can make our own oxygen, right? We could do our own oxygen. That must be an easy process. Electrolytic separator. Yeah, I'm gonna make one of those real quick, off camera. All right, so step 1 will be chemical oxidizer. I don't know exactly how I want you to be rotated. Hopefully this is cool. Now, why would I possibly be dizzy? That's a thing that makes no sense to me. I should not be out of blood. Divination sigil, please tell me this isn't happening. Oh, it is. Wrong place. Mob farm. It's hard to teleport when you're dizzy. Probably because, like, stuff's been running, right? I should turn these guys off. And off. That should fix it. Alright, back to work. Can't go 5 minutes without being distracted this episode, can we? Alright, so you are getting... I thought we set you up, didn't we? There you go, that's the side that it goes into. Cool. And then... Oh great, you're making sulfur dioxide. Perfect. Okay, cool. Are we good or what? This side? Yes. There we go. Okay. So we'll do something like this. And now you're cool to make lots of sulfur dioxide. So that's that check, right? We're going to need oxygen. So, alright guys, so we're going to proof of concept something here. Probably need this. Okay, so you're going to be that servo. You're going to be that, and you're going to be that. So you're going to whitelist lava buckets out. You're going to whitelist one lava bucket at a time, and you're going to whitelist sulfur, and it's going to eventually be extra lava buckets. So if I set you to ignored, you should only allow one lava bucket into this alchemy table at a time. Sweet. And then you should ignored and be that as well. So you're going to pull out that thing? Sweet. Sulfur. Pull out the sulfur. So you're making the sulfur, but you can't pull out the sulfur? That might be a problem. Let's see if we can get this thing to extract the sulfur. I need more sulfur. Can you tell? And I'm coming up with clever ways to get more of it. There's many a way to get sulfur. This is one of them. You get 8 sulfur per bucket of lava. I'm like, well, that seems pretty cheap, right? That seems pretty good. Let's see if the bottom ignored whitelist sulfur. Can you pull the sulfur out? You did! Yay! Cool. Can you pull the buckets out from there? That's, I guess, the next question. So you also get empty buckets, or do you have to pull empty buckets out the side? It's automatable. We know that much at this point. It just might be a little bit of a mess of cabling, but totally automatable. So you should only have one bucket in at a time. Now I know your servo is going to extract the sulfur, but you can't extract the bucket. Okay, cool. So then we need another servo, right? And another item duct. So you're no longer going to whitelist buckets. You're going to whitelist empty buckets. So there. Okay? So this should be a lava into sulfur machine. Yay? Cool. Look at that. How spifferino is that? I don't even know if that's using essence or not, but, you know, it's working. It's working. That's cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So I can put you guys away. All right, so that's a to-do list item. But, I mean, that works, right? Because we have infinite lava. Well, now we have infinite sulfur, in theory. The reason I did that is because we burned through that whole stack of sulfur I had and didn't even fill up this internal buffer for my chemical oxidizer. Looks like we get about 100 millibuckets of sulfur dioxide. We're going to find out how much we need to do this whole chemical process thing. But I noticed that and then was like, oh, that's not a lot of stuff, right? We need a lot of sulfur if we're going to do this, right? So sulfur dioxide, you get 100 millibuckets per sulfur dust, right? This sulfur dioxide needs molten sulfur plus liquid oxygen to get sulfur dioxide in a chemical reactor. And this, it's basically one sulfur dust equals that much molten sulfur. So one sulfur dust here equals a bucket of sulfur dioxide, right? Yeah, that's way more efficient. That's way more efficient for the sulfur dioxide production. The only downside is we need to feed it oxygen, but that shouldn't be a problem because we're about to get, you know, the oxygen production, right? So we'll need a melter from nuclear craft and a chemical reactor from nuclear craft. The problem was I didn't see the number, right? I didn't know how much sulfur dust equaled sulfur dioxide. It didn't tell me that it was only 100 millibuckets, where over here it's basically one sulfur equals 1,000 millibuckets, so it's 10 times more efficient. So I think we should do that, right? All right, you guys, you know what? It's pretty close to wrapping up point here. So what I think I'm going to do is between episodes, I'm going to switch over to more of a nuclear craft plan and less of a mechanism plan so that we can do this with nuclear craft rather than with mechanism. Because the mechanism looks like it's going to be more expensive resource-wise. So for now, Double 20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and complete this process and hopefully have, by the end of the episode, some calcium sulfate. All right, guys, take it easy.